Hey, you're listening to The Small Bites. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. We're brought to you tonight by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Everybody loves Joe's. Come on down for great food, great drink specials, and great company. You're treated like family when you get there, and it just keeps going and going. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about prepping. That's right, the P word. So come on in, sit down, listen to the Small Bites, and enjoy. Hey everybody, you're listening to the Small Bites. I am your host, Brad Pittman. Tonight we're going to talk about the P word. That's right, prepping. Starting to get a little bit colder outside. You know, things happen. We have bad weather. You know, snowstorms, blizzards, ice, you name it, we have it. And, you know, we need to be ready for these things. You know, when people think prepping, they think the old TV show where people would build compounds out in the desert out of freaking pipes and cinder blocks, you know, and have the road warrior things going on, you know, the boards with spikes in them, the explosives everywhere, eating dead rats and shit like that. Not really the prepping I'm talking about. I'm talking about common sense things. You know, I've been a prepper for a long time. Don't worry about the zombie apocalypse. Not going to happen. Don't care what anybody says, not going to happen. You know, everybody says, oh, prepare for the government to come take your guns. If the government wants me, they're going to come and get me. Have you seen the things they've got? I mean, they can read my license plate from space. They can sit in a little booth in California and have a drone come take daddy out. So I'm not worried about that. Not going to happen. If it does, I can't do anything about it. The things I'm talking about prepping against are natural disasters or, you know, power outages, things like that, things that we can control, things that do happen every day. So sit back. We're gonna delve into this subject a little bit. You know, it's something I could talk about for hours, but I'm not going to. It's going to be about 30 minutes tonight, but we will go deeper into it as, you know, the podcast goes on. You know, first we're going to talk about some of the reasons for prepping. You know, here in Georgia, we don't get snow or ice a whole lot, but when we do, I don't know if you noticed, everything goes haywire. That's right. You know, people can't drive. Milk and bread gone from the store. So no milk sandwiches for you if you're not ready. I've never understood that one, but okay. I can dig the sandwiches because, yeah, I'm 300 pounds. I dig sandwiches. But, you know, there's a lot of things that we need to look at. You know, we have hurricanes. We have just long power outages. You know, I've seen the power go out for a week and people not up over that. You know, nobody's ready for this. So whatever your reasons for prepping are, you know, here's a couple of things you've got to think about. You know, first, do you shelter in place or do you bug out? Is your place that you're in so bad or so non-ready for whatever's happening that you've got to leave? You know, if you do have to bug out, you know, there's things you need to think about. A location. I would love to have a location in Wyoming somewhere. Big, beautiful, open country, but I know that's not realistic because, too far away. I'm not going to be able to get there. So, you know, you need to think somewhere close that is a good location. That's going to be safe, going to be secure, fairly easy to get to. Don't blab about it to everybody. You know, operational security is one of the things about prepping. Don't blab about what you got. Because that's just giving people a catalog of what they can get. So keep your pie hole shut. You know, if you do have a bug out location picked, you know, how are you going to get there? You know, in the unlikely event of an EMP, you know, is your 2019 Mercedes going to run? No. Is your 72 Beetle going to run? It's going to run like a beast. So, yeah, that will. You know, you need to think about things like this. You know, do you need bikes to get there? You know, do you need good hiking shoes to get there? You need to think about all these things. You know, you need a bug out bag. You know, something that's just got supplies in it that's going to keep you safe and fed, sheltered, things like that until you get to where you're going. You know, something you can keep with you because, you know, disasters don't, you know, advertise, hey, we're going to be there in 2 weeks. Well, hurricanes do, but that's a whole nother animal. We'll talk about that another time. So you're going to need a bug out bag. Like I say, just a couple of small things, food, some kind of security. You may want a weapon, may not. Personally, I want a weapon. I don't want something huge that everybody's going to see. Don't want something too small that's not going to do what it has to do when it does. I want something that's going to protect me. You don't want a bag like a big, huge military bag, because people see that and they're going to automatically understand, okay, full of the crap that I need, let's take this guy. So just a normal backpack is fine. Shelter in place. Okay, now if you're going to shelter in place, you got a lot of different things you can think of. It's a lot easier sometimes because you don't have to carry a lot of things. You can store things around the house in different places. You've already got the place to stay. And once again, you've got everything stored that you need, hopefully. You've got your security in place. You know your home. You know the ways in and out. You know the area around it. You know everything there. So that's going to help out a lot with the security. Once again, you may or may not want weapons. Personally, I want weapons. I don't want 500 AR-15s because I can shoot one at a time. So use your head. You're going to need supplies. And you may look around the house and say, well, I've got this. Well, you need to make sure it's going to be enough for something you're actually going to use. Talking about supplies, we're starting out with food. You may look in your pantry and think, okay, I'm stocked pretty well. You're not. Your pantry may be full, but it may be full of things that you're not going to eat. Look at that can of wax beans in the corner. How long has it been there? Forever. Look at some of these things and some of the ingredients you're going to need. Like, once again, milk. What if there's no way to get milk? How is this going to be? You can still make it with water, hopefully, if you have water. Is it going to be nasty? Are you going to actually eat it? That's what you got to ask yourself. Several years ago, I found a deal on sardines. I bought a boatload of sardines. And I got to thinking, I can eat a can of sardines and still be really hungry. Does my family like just plain sardines? No, they do not. They will not eat them. So I got to think of the things I could do with these. And one afternoon, I got bored and said, okay, we're going to make salmon patties out of sardines. So I opened 2 cans of sardines up and mixed them up just like I was making salmon patties and fried them up, fed them to my family, and they loved them. They couldn't get enough of them. They said, Dad, these are a little bit different. What is it? And I finally said, those are sardines. And at first they were like, oh, that's horrible. And then they said, well, they were pretty good. And that made my decision to buy those a lot better, because instead of just something that I was going to eat and not get full off of, I could add a little bit of flour and a little bit of other stuff to it, and it was something everybody would eat and everybody would get full from. So you got to think like that. Think about shelf-stable foods, things that don't need refrigeration. Everybody jokes about Spam. Spam does have an expiration date on it, but as long as that can's not compromised, it does literally last forever. A lot of people don't like it. They say, oh, it's made of lips and assholes. No, it's not. It is actually pieces of ham. It's ham scraps. That's all it is. It's the company being frugal, making it where they can make their money. People say, oh, it's got that yucky slime around it. That's gelatin. Where do you think gelatin comes from? Pigs. So, don't turn your nose up at it. I've learned different ways to cook it. I have grilled it. I have smoked it. I've barbecued it. You named it, I've done it. I've done Spam and ramen. So, yeah, it's a good shelf-stable food. Once again, ramen. While ramen does taste good, everybody likes ramen. Come on. It has absolutely zero nutritional value. It is straight filler. On top of that, it is so full of sodium that you're going to need a lot of water. So even though it's cheap and easy to store, don't stock up on the ramen like that. Use it for what it is. It's a filler. If you hunt, or, even if you don't hunt, learn ways to preserve the food that you have. There's a lot of different ways to preserve meat. I smoke meat. You can salt meat and fish. It'll last forever. Things like that. You can meat. I've canned deer meat before, and it is amazing. So make sure you learn different ways to preserve what you do have. And rotate it out. Don't have a can of something sitting there for 5 years when you keep eating that. Eat it and replace it. That way what you do have is fresh. Because, old food, well, it's in the can. It is still good as long as that can's not compromised. But old beans are nastier than new beans. Just think of that. You got another concern. You've got water. We need water. That's just the basic fact. We've got to have it or we're going to die, period. Use water for your food. You use water for sanitation. You wash clothes with it. You flush toilets with it. You name it, you do it. Got to have a good source of water. If you have a well, don't rely on electricity. Have a way planned to be able to get water out of that well if the power goes out. I've got a 400-foot well at my house, and the power goes out. I've got 400 feet of water I can't get to unless I have something ready, which I do. Look for your water sources around you. They can be sources of food also. But you want to be able to store some water, have different water storage. Have storage for utility use, like being able to flush a toilet or being able to wash some clothes. And then you have your drinking water, because you're going to have to drink water. Once again, you cook with it, you drink it. You never realize how much water you use until there's no water. Been there, didn't like it. When you empty a milk jug, fill it up. Clean it really good, fill it up. Put it somewhere safe. When you need it, if it's been a while, still boil it. It's not a big deal. But always make sure you have plenty of water. Another thing, first aid supplies. Back in the Civil War, they didn't have a lot of stuff that we do now. And a scratch could kill you. An infection gets set in and boom, you've lost an arm. So, you want to be sure that you've got plenty of supplies on hand, It's not like you got to have every drug in the world. You can go to Walmart, bottle of Motrin, their brand is 88 cents. A lot of the stuff that we use every day, Neosporin, Motrin, things like that, Imodium, antacids, their brand 88 cents. They do that to bring you in there. And you can get those, and you've got the things that are going to keep you comfortable, that can try and keep you healthy. Vitamins. The food that we're going to have may not be the most nutritious in the world. So you're going to want to be able to supplement that. Vitamins are a good way to do it, because your body's going to need those. Once again, Neosporin, Motrin, Imodium. Think of what happens now to you. It's going to keep happening, and you're going to be able to take care of that as long as you have the right first aid things with you. Keep them in a cool, dry place, and once again, rotate those out. Some medicines have an expiration date that can be ignored. Others, does not. Others, you can't ignore that expiration date because it'll kill you. So you got to know, you got to get educated. Regular first aid supplies, bandages, things like that. And don't think along the lines of just, I got a little cut on my forearm. Think of, oh shit, I lost a finger. Think of things that can happen. Think of what you call other people for now that you're not going to be able to call them for. Get educated. The internet has got so many resources. Go to a first responder class, things like that. That way you know what to do when it hits the fan, when somebody's hurt, and that you are 911. You want to be able to take care of this person, Another thing to kind of touch on tonight, security. Well, like I say, security doesn't mean having 5,000 guns and 200,000 rounds of ammo. You're going to be able to carry and shoot one gun at a time. That's just the way it is. I'm a great shot, but I can't shoot two things at once and hit anything. Not going to happen. Don't do overkill. Don't get a long-range rifle if you're in the middle of a city. If you're going to be out somewhere where you're able to hunt. This gun could, potentially be your hunting weapon too and get food. Use something that's going to take down an animal properly and not make it where you've got to track it so far, and you can get a good clean kill on an animal. And also, it will be able to take care of your family in case somebody does try and come take what you have. Because you've all seen the grocery stores when the power's been out for a day or two, and how people do when the power's been out for a day or two. Imagine if that was a month. Imagine that level of desperation. It's people just get mean after a couple of days, but when it comes down to their families about to starve, they'll do just about anything. And while it seems kind of heartless to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to take care of everybody, you're not going to be able to take care of everybody. You'll learn that you have friends that you never knew you had when they don't have anything. And they know that you do. Once again, keep your pie hole shut about what you have. They may not know that beautiful lampstand there with the cover over it is 4 cases of MREs. If they do, they may say, okay, Brad's got MREs. Let's go over there. His family's getting fat while we're starving. And we want those. We're going to take them however we need to. When it comes down to my family or my friends, if it's just straight survival, everybody's going to pick family first. That's just the way it is. And I know there's nothing in the world that I would not do for my family. And I'm sure everybody out there is the same way. I don't want to sound like an extremist, like, yeah, I'm going to kill anybody that comes to get a can of beans. No, it's not like that. Have something to help people with if you can. But be choosy about who you help and what you give them and how you help them, because it can turn around and bite you. They may say, well, if he's got this, he can just give away. He must have plenty. And it's terrible, but human nature isn't always pretty. So, you got to worry about that security. Know your area, know who's there, know the ways in, the ways out. Think of how you would get into your place, into your entire area, and figure out how you would keep yourself out of that area. At my other place, I've got a chart made where I've got the distances called a range card, where from different areas of the place, I know exactly how far it is from this area to this spot, where if I ever, God forbid, had to shoot at somebody coming in that I knew was going to hurt me, I know exactly how far away they are. I know exactly what to do. And it's not all about killing people, none of that, no. It's, once again, operational security. Don't tell everybody. Keep your pie hole shut. Just be quiet about it. If you have a way to hide your place, hide your place. Things like that. Just stay low key. Another thing I want to touch on is just the random things that you need to kind of get up with. Things you don't think about. It's not food, it's not water, it's not first aid or security. If you have women or girls in your family, how about pads, tampons, things like that? Because that's not going to stop happening. And, you want everybody to be comfortable. Do you have enough blankets? Do you have things to get firewood with? The little extras. If you've got kids, they may not understand, okay, this is happening. We don't have this now, or this isn't available anywhere. Regular cocoa, just plain cocoa, does not spoil. And that little touch, a little bit of hot cocoa or a little bit of hard candy, something like that, helps them keep feeling like a kid. You want to be able to let them still be kids, because they're going to be going through everything with you, and they're not going to understand what's happening. And those little things, that little piece of hard candy, may help them out just enough to where they're not grown up to be the psycho, guy who has the shelter made of pipes. So think of things like that. You don't know how long something may last. It may be an EMP, which I'll touch on in another thing, and that's one of those things that can last for years, if not permanent. Think of extra clothes that are big enough. Kids are going to grow. Your jacket's going to wear out, things like that. You know, you think of shoes. Shoes and boots wear out quick. You got to have those. It is what it is. You know, I've touched on just a barely little bit of surface of prepping tonight. You know, I could go on about this for hours. I've got friends who could go on it even longer than me. And it's just kind of a little bit of food for thought. So I want everybody to kind of just think about it some and, you know, drop me a message. Drop me a message on Facebook. Brad's Comedy is my Facebook. Send me an email, bradscomedy@yahoo.com. You know, any ideas you have, any questions you have, any ideas for podcasts you may have. Because I'm always looking for different things. If you listen to this and you listen to my other ones, you know I am very random. You know, there's not been anything funny about this one. And another one I did, Herbert the Pervert reading the Three Bears, for God's sake. So I'm very random. You know, everybody listen and everybody pay attention to these things and just have fun with them. You know, the podcast is brought to you by Joe's Underground in Augusta, Georgia. Great little place. It's at the corner of 8th and Broad in the bottom of the Lamar building. You hit the Lamar building, you look to the side and you see some stairs going down. That's Joe's Underground. The great little club. I started going there several years ago. Now it's my home club. I love that club. Jeremy and the guys and girls there do such a great job making everybody feel at home. They have great entertainment, great drink specials. Every first Friday of the month, they have First Friday Comedy. Hilarious people coming on in. So make sure you get down there to Joe's Underground. I goes to Joe's and so should you. This Brad Pittman, fixing to head on out of here, just letting you know, be prepared, people. Have fun. I'm out.